Many parents are using CBD oil to help their children with autism to sleep, to address seizures, and also inflammation. Some parents are giving CBD and THC together, but that's where there gets to be some concerns. In the scientific literature, it has been noted that THC consumption, especially at a young age, can lead to addiction, cognitive decline, motivational loss, and psychosis. However, co-consumption of CBD might actually reduce these risks. There was a clinical trial investigating CBD and THC in those with autism. This video will explore the results. Hi, I'm Dr. Teresa Lyons. I teach parents the cutting-edge science of autism so that you can make the best decision for your child based on quality information. Let me get my slides so that you can see what I'm talking about. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to get the cutting-edge scientific information about autism so that you can make the best decision for your child based on quality information. All right, so now we will get into the clinical trial results for the cannabinoid treatment for autism. Cannabis. The main components of the cannabis plant are THC and CBD. THC activates the type 1 cannabinoid receptor, CB1R, in the brain. It is psychoactive and can lead to anxiety and psychosis. CBD is an allosteric modulator of the CB1R and might actually decrease the effects of a CB1R agonist, such as THC. So CBD might actually decrease the effects of THC. CBD is not psychoactive and has a relatively high toxicity threshold. THC consumption, especially at a young age, can lead to addiction, cognitive decline, motivational loss, psychosis, and co-consumption of CBD might actually reduce these risks. CBD and autism. Many parents are already giving their child with autism CBD, and this is just one little snippet of some research. So a single oral administration of 600 milligrams CBD to 34 men, it was 17 neurotypicals and 17 people with autism. They found that there was an increase in prefrontal GABA activity in neurotypicals. However, there's decreased GABA activity in those with autism. And here's another example of how CBD is used in health, specifically in epilepsy. Epidiolex is a drug that was approved by the FDA in 2018, and it's a drug that is derived from CBD. It's actually pure CBD compound, and it's been approved for the treatment of 2 severe types of epilepsy. 10 to 30% of those with autism also have epilepsy. And just to point out here, Epidiolex is not approved in autism currently. This slide is really just to show you how CBD is actually being used in mainstream health. Let's get to the clinical trial. All right, here we go. So placebo-controlled double-blind comparison of 2 oral cannabinoid solutions. And there was 150 participants in this clinical trial. The participants had autism and they were aged 5 to 21 years old. Participants were randomly assigned to one of 3 treatments for 12 weeks, followed by a 4-week washout, and then a predetermined crossover for another 12 weeks to further assess tolerability. The treatments were either oral placebo, whole plant cannabis extract containing CBD and THC, the ratio was 20-1, or pure CBD and pure THC at the same ratio. Here's the results. Overall, the research paper says that there is not drastic changes in behavior. They did not see drastic changes in behavior. However, they go on to say that specifically disruptive behavior was either much or very much improved. And if you have a child with autism that has disruptive behavior, to get any improvement in this is absolutely wonderful. So I'm sure some parents will say, no, this is a drastic change. So it really depends again on the observer. But
Overall, the research paper says that drastic changes in behaviors were not seen. However, disruptive behavior was either much or very much improved. Good thing to know that there were no treatment-related serious adverse events, and the common adverse events included sleepiness and decreased appetite. That is always something important to keep in mind. A lot of times we think, oh, CBD, that should stimulate appetite. Not necessarily always. So CBD, THC, they have different effects on people. So sometimes you might see an increase in appetite, but you also might see a decrease in appetite. Just depends on the person. The clinical trial conclusions. This interventional study provides evidence that 2 cannabinoid solutions administered for 3 months are well tolerated. Evidence for efficacy of these interventions are mixed and insufficient. However, further testing is recommended, right? There were no severe adverse events. There were changes seen in some of the participants' behaviors, specifically in disruptive behaviors, which are really great to be able to target and to improve upon those. So obviously, further investigation is necessary. I will point out that 2 authors of this research received personal fees and stock options for advisory roles at the manufacturer of this cannabinoid solution. And here are some references.